Well, a couple of weeks ago on Ham Nation, George was talking about oscilloscopes, and he mentioned a thing called a spectrum analyzer. I'm David Haygood, N0YKG, and I thought I'd try to answer the question, well, what is a spectrum analyzer? A spectrum analyzer looks at a signal over frequency, not over time. I have three examples of spectrum analyzers right here. An RF spectrum analyzer, a baseband spectrum analyzer, and your SDR program is a spectrum analyzer. I said RF spectrum analyzer and baseband. Well, what do I mean by that? It's what their kinds of signal they're trying to measure. An RF spectrum analyzer looks at radio signals. A baseband spectrum analyzer looks at audio signals. I've got my baseband spectrum analyzer here looking at the output of my RF spectrum analyzer, so I can see my demodulated audio here, and you see its spectrum. And then your spectrum analyzer in an SDR program, I've got Quisk running over here, is nothing more than another spectrum analyzer. It also gives you another example of a different kind of display. We have the standard spectrum analyzer display, which shows amplitude of my frequency segments versus frequency. And then you have the waterfall, which is just nothing more than that line kind of flipped sideways. The further out, the further up, the brighter the line. So, RF spectrum analyzer, baseband spectrum analyzer, and standard and SDR analyzer. There's also two types of spectrum analyzer function, or how you actually measure the spectrum. There's an FFT-based spectrum analyzer, which uses a complicated mathematical algorithm called a fast Fourier transform, FFT. That's this guy, that's that guy. There's also what's the old school approach, a swept mixer, which is what this guy is. Each one breaks a spectrum down into its frequency segments and shows you again amplitude versus frequency, amplitude versus frequency, amplitude versus frequency. We're going to do a couple more segments where I'm going to show a few more examples of exactly how to use a spectrum analyzer, and those will be coming up in future shows. Until then, I'm David Haygood, N0YKG, and I hope you enjoyed this.